Okay, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for filling out the survey for me. Appreciate you doing that. What we're going to do this morning is a little bit different than a lecture or presentation. It's more like an installation tutorial because I would like you guys to be well prepared for Python. We're going to do that today. We're going to work on installing Python this morning. And then after, we're going to go into GitHub pages. So this is a way to deploy one of our projects using GitHub. Now, if we're able to finish this pretty soon, if this takes us an hour, this will be the only thing we'll do. But if we finish soon enough, we can have some time to do our daily stand-ups. Okay, so there's no pressure. This is just to get it all right. So don't feel obligated to rush it to make it work. We want to do it slow and steady to make sure we cover all our bases. Okay, so we're going to go over Python. Before we install Python together, I did make a short slide for us to give some context about what we're installing. So let's go ahead and view this slide. Okay, so intro to Python. We're going to go through 5 slides here. We're going to look at the course outline. I know this image is a little zoomed in. Bear with it here. Okay, so Python level. We talked about this a little bit before. Okay, first day, it's going to be going over Python fundamentals. That's how the language Python is written, how the syntax is different than JavaScript. You're going to be able to understand a lot of how Python is written because if statements work the same way, for loops work the same way, they're just written differently. Okay, so we're going to see that slight difference in how the language Python is written on the first day, and that's all on the first day. So imagine everything that we've learned about JavaScript, right? How to create variables, how to create functions, how to invoke functions, how to create for loops, while loops, all that stuff. It's going to be covered all on the first day of Python. We're going to learn how to do all that stuff in the Python language, okay? So we're going to take all that we've learned about JavaScript and convert it to Python, okay? It's like learning a new language when you learned a language that was very similar to it already, okay? Like let's say you learned Spanish, okay? Now you can kind of understand Portuguese. It's not that much of an effort to learn, okay? There's just a very similar, that's an analogy. If you can understand, there's a slight, well, very similar, but slight difference in this language. Okay, then the next couple days, we're going over the concepts of object-oriented programming. So we've been working with objects, remember, in JavaScript. So we're going to continue working with objects, but now how objects relate to the concept of object-oriented programming. So how we use objects in programming, and then Flask. Flask is a tool that will connect our Python server, right, to our HTML pages. So this is a tool. Flask is like a container, so it's going to contain all of that stuff. And then Flask post in session. So what this is we're going to be able to remember the analogy that I've given about a restaurant, how the front end is the experience the user has when being greeted by the waiter and given the menu, then selecting from the menu. That all is the front end, and someone has to work in the back end to arrange the food, grab it from the database, which we can call maybe like the freezer or something, right, where the food is stored. So the server needs to connect to a database and be able to post on the pages that information. So we're going to use MySQL as a database, right? We're going to just post from objects we have written in our server, but we're not going to have data written in our server. We're going to have it in our database. So our server is going to have to pull from our database. And then we're going to have to query our database. So ask our database for information. And we're going to have to learn how to write query statements in SQL. and through a program called MySQL that uses SQL. That's the database service. And then once we connect that all together, then we're getting close to being able to prep for the belt. And then there's exam day. There's projects after the exam. So after the exam, just like this course here, the stress level weans off a little bit, okay? But it is tough, okay? This is a lot of new things being thrown at you at once, and it's hardly anything we can compare it to, all right? There's some analogies we'll give you. We have some great instructors that will help you, but I just want to give you a heads up as to what we're going to be looking at and experiencing in the next month, okay? Why Python? Because Python is a backend, and we need our backend to interact with our database. This is where all the information, for example, if we create a website where people can like something on our page, for now, our website is not going to store that likes. Anytime someone loads that website, the likes are going to start from the designated number we started at, 0 or whatever variable we set to hold that likes number. But we want that data to be stored somewhere. It's going to be stored in a database, but in order for it to get to the front end, to the database, from the front end to the database, we need a backend service. And that's what Python is going to be. Python is going to be that backend service that grabs the information from the front end and then queries the database for that information, or sends that front end information to the database. And then the database, it will interact with the database to bring it back to the front end. So for example, if you enter into an input tag, your username and password, okay, it needs to be saved somewhere in order for that to work. That username and password is going to be in a database. The server is going to take it from the front end, ask if it matches something in the database. If it does, then it returns to the front end, your page where you logged in, where you log in and see your profile. Okay, so that is the reason why we need Python. So let's talk about how Python is used across industries, okay? Python is used in web development, in data science, in finance, telecommunications, and in language processing tools, okay? So it's a language used across industries. We're using it just for web development, so we'll be using it with Flask, as it says up there. Okay, but you guys can read this here for yourselves. It's popular in many different industries. Okay, so we're getting our feet wet in a technology that can be translated in many different ways. Okay, so you can make apps using Python. That's what we're going to be learning for now. But people use Python for data science. And if you're able to have some data science skills along with Python, it's going to be a helpful thing in the industry. If you have some finance skills or language processing skills, Python is used for all those tools as well. Okay, so that's what I just wanted to give you guys a heads up with. Now, differences in Python. Python is dynamically typed while JavaScript is also dynamically typed, okay? Python has a built-in data structure, some simple syntax, making it easy to write and debug. Python is known for its extensive library, just like JavaScript has a library, and JavaScript is primarily used for web development, enabling for interaction with HTML elements, okay? So Python is used for backend, and JavaScript is used primarily for the web, for front end. Now for installation, we're going to install this together. So we're not going to go over that slide. Let's go to the platform and see the installation guide that we have here. Okay, so this is the one we're going to use. If you go to the platform, you go to this section here, projects and portfolio. You can scroll down past career services, and we are going to go to the Python section. Some of the information from the slide I got from the platform. Some of it I had to do a search for. Let's go to the OSX installation page. Okay, so this is where I'm going to be following the directions from. But if you're on a Windows machine, go ahead and click here and follow these steps here. Very similar steps. Now, I want us to note, for those that are installing, to look at these. These are really important squares here. So they're highlighted in green, but I'm going to highlight it in red here. When you install Python, click that button at the bottom left, add Python 3.6 to path. Okay. Python is going to be a language that now we're going to be able to use in our terminal, just like we can use JavaScript in our terminal. The end goal is to be able to type in Python-V. If you're on a PC, you should be able to write Python-V, and on a Mac, you should be writing Python 3-V. Okay, so this is going to be a slightly different test to see that we met our end goal. Mac users are typing Python 3-V. PC users are just typing Python-V. Okay, so the first step for Mac users, I'll do the Mac users first, is you go to python.org and then you go to downloads. Okay, and you see here download Python. Click that download button. Once you download it, you should be able to see this in the downloads. And then you can click there, install, and then it will update. Click update shell profile. This will allow you to use Python in your shell, which will allow you to type this command and verify that it's properly installed.
I'm sorry, how did you get to that download page again? The first one?
The download page is at the link is at the very top of this installation here, python.org. I can link this in the chat if you're not finding it. Okay, so here we are. We're at the page. I've linked it. Okay, so let's continue. I am clicking this download, installing it, and then being able to run the command line Python 3-V. So I should see here on my terminal, if I type in Python 3-V, and it should tell me my current version of Python there. Now, if you finish that step and you are a Mac user, please type a 1 in the chat. And if you are finished with the installation as a Windows user, please type a thumbs up in the chat.
What if we're getting errors?
Okay, that's what I want to know. Where are you guys getting errors?
So when I typed in Python space -V for Windows, I'm getting a bunch of imports. Oh, installing. All right, let me try it again, actually.
Okay, yeah, remember when it's installing, you want to leave it be.
Well, like, so
let's share your screen, Richard. This is like an installation tutorial, so we're gonna go share through people's screens, make sure we're all up to speed. So
Richard, did you do Python 3.11.4 or did you do the pre-release 3.12?
So I
Sure.
did.
Did that one?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the correct one. And then
Okay.
This is what I'm seeing when I typed in Python -v.
Oh wow. Okay.
okay, let's clear your terminal.
How does one do that?
Okay, actually you are in the Python. You are in the Python. See when you see those triple carets, you're
Yeah.
in the Python interpreter. So you need to exit. I think it's Control or you're on a PC, Control C or Control Z.
Control C did there. Control Z did that, and then Control C just does this.
Yeah, how do we exit that Python? Let's see. Colby, I'm not the Python expert. If you have any advice with this one, I'm going to see how I'm going to test it myself. Python 3. Okay, let me see. I'm testing it on my PC. So let me give you that right answer in just a minute.
Okay.
Is it so no, I think you have it installed. You're fine, Richard. I'm just looking for the command to have you exit Python.
Okay.
I believe that's exit with parentheses at the end.
Okay.
I was just trying that out
Yep.
too.
Confirmed. Okay. That's
Like
it,
that?
Richard. So type in exit with parentheses.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Nice. We're learning together. Okay. Yep. We're getting into Python, which is getting out of my scope here, but I need to know as well.
I should still be able to type in.
Python, yeah, type in Python.
Do I need to go to desktop maybe?
No, don't do that. Just type in Python space -v.
Oh, is it capital? Oh, it's capital V. I did lowercase v.
Oh, okay.
That would make sense. Okay.
That's it. So you're good, Richard.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know if there's other people waiting, but I'm actually like struggling pretty hard just to like even get the download going.
Okay, let's see it.
So I go here, I click this or the link that you sent me. I go download Python.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I don't know why it wasn't working earlier.
Okay.
Okay, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and download it now.
Can I share my screen next?
Okay, go ahead, Eric.
So do I click modify? Is that what you guys did?
Oh, okay. So now you are reinstalling it. It looks like you already have it installed. So let's open up a terminal.
I don't remember ever installing it.
Yeah, but maybe it came with your computer.
Hmm.
Python.
Python dash V?
Yes. You got it. You're
Oh,
good.
so I can cancel this.
Cancel it. Delete it. You're good.
What?
So you
Okay,
have it installed already. Lucky you.
that's weird.
I think I got it, but I'm not sure. Can I share my screen?
Yes, of course. Awesome. Looking good.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
All right. So if you've finished installing, give me a 1 in the chat or give me a thumbs up, something that shows me we are done with this so I can know who is left that we need to get up to speed.
Right. Is that it, Josh?
That's it. I just want us to install Python so we're not fumbling with this on the first day of
Okay. I just literally clicked these two, like
Yeah.
Okay.
Should be
And then
easy process.
for Mac, that's it.
And then once you finish doing that, you go open up your terminal terminal is right here at the very bottom right next to your Discord icon on your dock. It's that little winky eye thing, that one. Okay, so process completed. Let's open a new one. Right click and say new terminal on the terminal. I'm sorry, on the winky eye thing. Right click, new terminal, new window. Yeah. And then type in Python 3.
Okay. Does it have to be capitalized?
No, lowercase. Python 3 space dash uppercase V. V as in Victor. Enter. There you go. You got it.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
And so let me share my screen. I think everyone has it now. Please let me speak up or type in the chat if you do not have it. You guys see my screen, right? Am I sharing the right screen? Yes. So here I am in Python. So in order to exit, I have to type in exit and then parentheses. Exit and then parentheses. Okay. In order to enter again, I type in just Python. Ooh, no, wait. On a Mac, Python 3. Okay, PC is just Python. Here it is. I have Python. Now I can do some Python stuff. So I can say 3 plus 3. Okay. And there, I did a little math. So we're going to be learning how to use this in more detail starting Monday. But if you're able to type in Python or Python 3, if you're on a Mac, and then see here that Python shell, where it's showing you you are in Python mode. In order to exit, you will need to type in exit and then parentheses. Enter. Okay, so now we have Python installed. We have our shell ready. We can move on from here. So I think everyone has Python installed, right? No one's left behind.
Are you doing that on Python or is that the terminal still?
Python on the terminal. Yeah, your Python now works on the terminal.
Okay, and let's say we don't exit it. Does that mean that when we go into VS Code, everything's going to be...
No, it's just per terminal. So I can open lots of new windows. Okay. Actually, you know, for you, Josh, if you haven't seen the lecture on the terminal, I would watch that.
Okay, yeah, I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, that would make more sense of what I'm doing here. This is the terminal. Python is just a language that we can run here in our terminal. Okay, so we have Python now installed. I think we're all good to go. And we're going to ignore this Python and git bash thing. Don't need to do that. Running Python. So now we can do some math here. We can say 4 plus 5, 31 divided by 2, x equals 9, y equals hello. Let's run this one here. So let's say
no one.
Python 3, and we say x equals 9, y equals hello, x times y. Then we have 9 hellos. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, so this is Python. I'm going to exit Python and save this for next month. All right, so I say next month, but next week, you guys starting your 4 weeks of Python. Okay, so here it is. We've finished Python. Now, let's go to our schedule. We've finished this. We've installed Python, and we've run some Python already. Now we want to learn about GitHub pages. We're going to pivot to another topic. This is so that we can learn how to deploy our GitHub app. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create a new one for us here. Let's do that. I'm going to close this terminal. I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call this GitHub pages example. Okay, maybe I'll just go and create here. So cd desktop, and then cd GitHub pages, touch index.html, touch style.css.
We don't see your screen, by the way. I don't know.
Oh, whoops. Nice catch. Okay, so this is what I've done. I was talking and describing this. So I just created a folder called GitHub Pages Example folder on my desktop. I've seeded into it. I've created an index.html file by saying touch index.html, then touch style.css. And I'm going to say code here. Okay, there I am. I have my index.html. I'll just say hello world. And then maybe a p tag with like lorem. Enter. This is my GitHub pages example. Okay, so now let's see this here. So this is my web page. This is what I want to post to the internet. All right, so this is my repository. I need to push this to GitHub, all right? So I'm just going to go through the process of pushing to GitHub. So I'm going to click the GitHub icon here, initialize repository, enter the commit message, first commit, click commit, publish, public, okay, public, pushed, open on GitHub. Now it's here, okay? Now I can see my index.html is here. I have my own repository for this project. Index.html, style.css. Okay, so now that this is complete, what I want to do is go to the settings. And then after I click settings, okay, so this is step 1, settings. Click that. Step 2, click pages. Click pages. Once I go to pages, I should see this. And once I'm here, I'm really close, okay? So it's asking me to deploy from a branch. The only branch I have by default is the main branch, right? It says none or main. The only one I had by default is the main. So I click main and then I hit save. Once I hit save, it is now on its way to being deployed. It is now on its way to being deployed. So we need to actually give it a couple minutes in order to see the result. Now that I have it up there, I can change the domain name if I had a custom domain name if I wanted. We don't need to do that now. But right now we're gonna wait a couple minutes. Let's back up here. Let's go to my repositories. Okay, let me see here. See if it's updated. Go to pages. Okay. Give it just a minute before we let it complete. Okay, so that was the process to deploy it. It needs some time in order to update. Okay, so now that I've finished that, I've pretty much wrapped up showing you guys how GitHub pages work. I need to give it a couple minutes to show you the final result. Okay, it's still in the oven. Right now it is past noon. Usually would be finished with this hour, so we're not going to do our daily stand-ups. All right, we took a lot of time. Anthony, you have a question?
Yeah, on my GitHub pages it says verified domains. There are no verified domains. Add domain.
Same.
Okay. So go ahead and share your screen with me, please.
Okay.
So you went to pages. Did you let's see your repository.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, click the repository that you want to see deployed.
We'll go with this one.
Okay. Now go to settings. Pages.
Okay.
Then there you are. So you have to click the repository you want to see deployed.
Okay. Not just settings via here.
No, not there.
Got it.
Exactly. Okay, great question. So
You should be able to visit the site. Mine just worked.
okay,
Check it.
there we are. Perfect. Let me show the site now. So here we are. Let's look at the site. It's now loaded. My site is live at here, and this can be viewed by anyone now. So if I share this in the chat, you guys should be able to click the link and see the page I just created, right? So this is from GitHub. This is now on the web from GitHub. I pushed my project. You guys should be able to click the link on the chat and see exactly what I'm seeing on my screen. Do you guys see that there when you click the link? And that's how we're going to be able to push our profile pages online for now. Okay, free of charge. We have GitHub as our aid. We're going to just use this service to push our profile pages online. And I think there's even more you can do with it. You know, if you want to get serious and get a domain, I believe that GitHub is going to allow you to change your domain there as well. Okay, so that's not an immediate need. We won't need to get into that now. So that's it for this morning, guys. You guys have your projects to work on. So this afternoon, we'll meet at 2 Mountain Time. Well, this will be our final stand-up before we present our projects tomorrow morning. Okay, so let's get our last day of working on our projects finalized. Let's get those finishing touches. Let's get an MVP done by tomorrow morning. And our last check-in here, we should see everything pretty much coming to an end, wrapping up. Okay, so looking forward to seeing those presentations, guys. Let's go ahead and end this session.